Down here at the bottom left, our Protoss player is up 1 game. He is from the Team Prime, and his ID is...
Creator Prime.
The creator of the Double Forge strategy in PvT. Not playing against a Terran this match, though. In this match, he is up against this Zerg player in every season of Code S, every season of the GSL. He is...
LGIM NesTea.
Was given today for the first time a new award called the NesTea Award, which is given to any player who can be in Code S for 10 seasons consecutively. Something that only he has done. Creator, the very fast probe scout, will force the pool first. The only way to avoid this is to hide a drone behind the mineral line. And that is not something that NesTea did. We'll go pool first. On a map like this, fairly safe as well. Don't want to get cannoned. Cannoning and probe blocks. That first probe just basically makes it impossible for the Zerg to go hatch first safely on most maps, especially 2-player map. So this is the map choice of NesTea. Creator will likely go for a Nexus first, since he has not dropped his Forge yet. And the drone will actually go to third base location. And he looked like he was going to potentially send a drone to the natural as well in case the probe followed the second one, so the probe stayed. And we actually see Forge first here for Creator, not going Nexus first. I'm just saying the pool timing. The Nexus is going to be slightly delayed as a result, but he will be able to now make a gateway if he chooses to. He's not made his second pylon yet. Okay, so he's going to go pylon before gate. A more economic choice. Slows down his pressure timings just slightly. But most would argue that the pylon before gateway is the better choice. He's basically set up a full wall off now. NesTea will start his third hatchery very soon. He still hasn't added any gases. The probe has actually been chased away. He's going to go and hide that. Could potentially pylon, so he can go for a 4 gateway pressure attack or a scout, additionally, to make sure that third base is still there. The probe has a lot of utility. He wants to keep it alive. He's going to hide it all the way at the bottom. NesTea is going to be searching for that. NesTea will come in here later to scout what sort of tech, what sort of attack pattern we see from Creator. He has made that third hatchery at the natural, as it's been spotted here, though. We do have a queen walking, but this queen is just going to be walking to the third base, looks like. Not going to be doing anything crazy like her sister planned on doing. Of course, core at a very normal timing now for Creator. The question is, will he in fact go for that 4 gateway pressure? We're going to find out in seconds, as he will start +1 very soon. He can start +1 and Warp Gate Research. They both have a build time of 160. Start them at the same time, time it out. So that's what we're going to see here in just seconds. We'll either see that or a Stargate. I guess potentially a Robo as well. That's not really Creator style. And what's it going to be? Warp Gate Research and Stalker coming out. No +1. He's got 100 now. Not getting +1, so it will be tech. What will the tech choice be? No. He goes +1. Creator, you could have gotten that +1 a little bit faster. But yeah, it looks like it is going to definitely be 4 gateway pressure. You'll notice he'll time it out perfectly with the Warp Gate Research. You can spend an extra Chrono Boost on the +1 to get it to catch up. And, you know, the time it takes for the units to walk from the pylon to the base as well. Having that +1 a little bit later is not going to be too big of a deal. 6 more drones now on the way for NesTea. Overlord gets chased away. Overlord, in fact, I believe did see the 3rd gas, yeah. Does not see whether 4th gas is taken. And right now, Creator is just going to stick with the 3rd one. Robo going down here. This is going to be his transition. And he may, in fact, just not go with the pressure that he wanted to go for. But yeah, he's still going to do it. I just didn't see a probe going over to make the gateways. Now he's made 2, and he will make, in fact, 3. Going up to 4. No probe out on the map to make a forward pylon just yet, though. He's continuing to deny the Overlord Scout, or attempting to deny it, vision of that Geyser, but with the new Overlord speed, it's impossible. He's got a Stalker to deny the Overlord on the right side as well. No forward pylon means no 4 gateway pressure, though. He's actually going to use a Warp Prism to do this. Now, this is a little bit weird. it will serve the same purpose and is a little bit easier to do. Will also allow him to pick up and micro with some of his units, but the timing may be missed. NesTea's already made a ton of Zerlings, and he's got the potential to hold here very easily. No Roach Warren from NesTea, who is going Lair right now, indicating that he will in fact go for either fast Spire Tech or fast Infestors. He only has the 2 gases though. And the NesTea Overlord spots the Warp Prism. It's got 2 Sentries, a Stalker, and a Zealot in it. That's the Creator set, man. You can order that. Costs about 600, 700 resources in total. Put all those units in a Warp Prism and ship it across the map, but he is going for it, and NesTea is totally prepared, making additional Zerlings right now, but he has enough to hold here, I feel. Depends on the force fields, though. Nice wall here. He's actually trapped. He's trying to trap these units, but they're against the wall. Great force fields. Oh my god, those force fields were perfect. And NesTea has to make 24 additional Zerlings. He was prepared to hold, but in the end, he was not able to. This Queen will not be trapped. More Zerlings coming out here, though. Now he gets the Queen. The drones being pulled, and Creator with a unique timing attack is out of force field energy. He's not picking up the sentries to save them either. He's warping in purely Zealots, and this can actually kill a player who skips Roach Warren. And NesTea has done just that, but it looks like he will have enough Zerlings maybe to hold. No Warp Prism Micro to lift up the units. He has to go home. NesTea lost in total 14 workers. He lost a lot of larvae making those Zerlings, but the Spire is on the way, and he is facing Robotics Tech. Right now, an Immortal has been made. A second Immortal is even going to pop out without seeing any Roaches. I feel this is a mistake. Of course, if NesTea were going for any type of Roach build, he would have already had the second, he would have already had the Roaches out. But what NesTea is doing here is still going to struggle to hold against a big aggressive attack, a second attack with 1-1. Basically, what Creator has done is done the Immortal timing attack off of 2 bases off of 1, and now is looking like he is setting up to do it again. To do that normal timing attack that you see off of 1 base. He's denying the scout here, making sure his opponent does not know whether he's taking a third or not. He's adding 2 gateways. He's following this up with a second all-in. Basically the type of all-in that you normally see. The one with the Immortals and the Warp Prism. He's got that same Warp Prism. He's going to send it in here. Now he knows that he's actually not able to deny the vision of the third base, and he's not going to commit. He's just going to harass with Stalkers. He's going to do Stalker drops to kill the tumors. Okay, so I thought he was going to commit. He added additional gateways. He was moving out on the map. He had 1-1. About a later Twilight Council. Turns out he decides he's not going to commit. 10 Mutalisks on the way for NesTea now, who, since he was not attacked, is completely unhindered here. And the Zerlings will attack the Nexus. There is enough Sentry energy, though, to deny them. Good force fields here, using the pathing of the Zerlings against them. But unfortunately was not able to trap very many. +2 spinning very quickly, as well as Blink will be done before the Mutalisks arrive, but there are so many Mutalisks, 16 of them. 16 versus the 11 Stalkers and 7 Sentries. If he wants, he can send them into 2 groups. This may be too much for Creator to handle, as well as that Zerling group he still has at the north. There's a ton of Sentries, though, and cannons in play at the third base. Probes have been transferred. The Mutalisks are trying to find an entry point here. They're all going to go together. He may even send the Zerlings together with the Mutalisks to attack at one location where Creator has sent other units. He spots them, however, with his Observer, and he sends all of his units into the third base to defend. This is desperation by NesTea. He's going to try to make something work here. Guardian Shield goes up. Great force fields as well. Traps some Zerlings. The rest of the Zerlings not able to fight. The Mutalisks trying to target down Immortals and Cannons, but it just doesn't matter. And Blink is done. He blinks forward, targets down several Mutalisks. NesTea in a tough spot now because he has been completely shut down. He spent so much gas on this. He has no other tech. He actually even misplaced his hatchery in the center of the map. I don't think you guys got a shot of that. He misplaced his hatchery, had to cancel it and move it. There was that hatchery right there. But, I mean, it's like, at this point, NesTea, I cannot stress, you know, he's not out of this game, but he's committed so much gas into a tech. It may no longer be relevant with this many Stalkers on the field. And that first wave of Mutalisks is so important. It's kind of a snowball effect. And if you don't get that first, you know, rolling down the hill from the snowball, you're just not going to be able to really make the Mutalisks work. Eventually, your opponent will have the tech out to defend. Right now, we see Dark Shrine rather than Templar Archives. The Dark Shrine is going to allow him a lot of harassment potential. It's going to be very difficult for NesTea to defend. The Warp Prism is still alive as well, so you can use that coupled with the DTs to do a lot of damage in the main base. Now, NesTea trying to do whatever he can. He's got so many Zerglings with these mutas, and if he could just fight the Protoss army straight up, he could win, but he will never fight the Protoss army straight up because there are observers everywhere. The Mutalisks are always under scrutiny. They're always being watched. Creator's like, oh, I see you sent your Mutas to the right, and now instead of putting my Stalkers in the middle, I'll send them over to the right. You keep on the left, I'll just reposition. Mutas and your Zerglings are together. Okay, I just send everything in the direction where that is. And finally, NesTea, he's had enough. He's like, oh, okay, I get it. You always know where my Mutas are. I gotta kill the Observer. And in typical Creator fashion, he may lose 2 Observers and within 10 seconds of each other. Nope. The Observer will go to the north. Creator really well known for losing Observers. He's been using this one quite well. One Archon is now out. He's using DTs to make Archons rather than using them to harass. No Warp Prism harassment. 2 DTs coming down here, but they're actually ironically going to hit the path of the Mutas right away. Crowd going wild. Could have been potentially devastating as NesTea does not have Spore Crawlers up. It's now making 5 additional spines as well in the center. This is a scary moment because with the Archon in the mix, this is going to be so difficult to deal with for NesTea. If he tries to commit to an attack, the Archon will just add so much extra DPS no matter what it's fighting. It could add extra DPS to Zerglings and Mutas at the same time. He's morphing 22 Banelings right now, but he's facing purely Immortals, Blink Stalkers, and an Archon with 2 full energy sentries to drop force fields. Banelings are not going to be useful in this situation. He's completely out of position, though, this time with no Observer. He was not ready for this, and yeah, he's got some Stalkers here, but NesTea has 28 Mutalisks, and some Stalkers is not enough for 28 Mutalisks. He sends the rest of his units home, and meanwhile, NesTea sends his Zerglings through the center of the map. He's going to force a cancel on this Nexus, or at least he will try. Immortals coming in here as well. The Stalkers being split, accidentally clicks on the destructible debris. The Banelings actually do connect very well here for NesTea, but the supply is now only 10 down for Creator. He had to cancel that Nexus, but the Mutalisk count is now down to 18. He did defend in his main base. He's making additional cannons there. +2 armor is on the way for Creator. He's had +3 for quite some time. NesTea in a lot of trouble if Creator decides to commit to an attack right now. He made some spine crawlers. He's still on, I guess, about 10 of them, 11 right now in total, with the 11th one he is making. But if Creator circumvents this, or even if he attacks into the spines, he has enough units, especially with those Immortals in the mix, to defend. Or rather, he won't have enough to defend against the Stalker push. He does have some Stalkers in the main base to defend here. He needs to pull them back. There are too many Mutas. Stalkers heavily upgraded, but the Mutalisks doing a ton of damage. Now that he's got +2 armor about to finish, though, and with Blink Stalker Micro, these Mutas may not actually be able to do what they want to do. This is going to be a decent trade for NesTea. But it's not what he wanted, and Creator is going to do just what I said. He's going to fight. Well, that one spine crawler scared away. I think he could definitely go for it if he wanted to, though. The choice to go for DTs rather than High Templar to make Archons is really interesting because it uses 125, 125 times 2 rather than 50, 150, 50, 150 times 2. So in total, the same number of resources, just more or less gas and a few more minerals. Warp Prism completely shut down. The Mutas are out of position, though, and Creator knows it. He is going to circumvent that spine crawler cluster. That's exactly what I was talking about. Well, he decides to change his mind. He split his units now into 2 groups. One of them in the center, one of them aggressively going towards the natural of NesTea. Both players now max NesTea finally with the Infestation Pit. The transition is here. The Mutalisks do come into the main base. And the Stalkers are ready. They have +2. The Mutalisks have +2 as well, but the Stalkers with +3 and +2 armor. He needs more of them, though. It will be Blink Micro to gate away. Meanwhile, oh man, there are so many Banelings here. He's already used his Blink. Banelings explode. There are more Zerglings streaming up, but the Stalkers have so much armor. They will escape. They fall back to the cannons. They're split into 2 groups, however. Needs to be careful of how he engages this. Right now, NesTea up 40 supply, +3 armor on the way for the Stalkers. The Mutalisks in the main base had to retreat. He's now down to 11 Mutas with 11 more on the way. That'll put him at a total of 22 right now. 3 additional spine crawlers coming out for NesTea. 8 Banelings, Infestor, Pathogen Glands on the way. His Infestation Pit is in a really vulnerable spot in the middle of the map as well. But he will finish that Pathogen Glands upgrade before he is under attack. Right now, though, with the 4th base of Creator, he has the production to remax very, very quickly. And I worry, though, that with no Colossi, the Infestors may be a big problem for him. That's the one thing he has not hit just yet from NesTea, but NesTea's got the Infestor upgrade now. And NesTea, even though he lost so many Mutalisks there, He has hidden the fact that he remade them for so long, and now he is going to go into the main base. Creator very much out of position. There are too many mutas for just these Stalkers alone to fight. Blinking there was a mistake. He thought NesTea was on the way out, but NesTea was not on the way out. He was in fact just on his way back in. Meanwhile, Creator in the middle of the map will tear through these Spine Crawlers. Not very many force fields left here, but the Baneling's not connecting as well as he wants to. The Archon doing a ton of damage. Even DT's doing that bonus damage to those biological structures at the front, doing so much damage. There's no detection here. Oh, but NesTea I think will hold. There are too many Banelings. NesTea losing the majority of his Banelings. The push at the front still occurring though. NesTea's drone count right now at 87. He is 60 supply up. A lot of these Stalkers on low hit points, plus 3 armor about to finish. More DTs warping in right now. For Creator, he still has that 4th mining base in the center. NesTea pulling back, trying to get more and more Banelings. 19 of them in fact morphing right now. Baneling landmines not very effective against pure Stalker. The mutas in the main base, they still are here. There are 12 of them, and they are wreaking havoc on those probes until 19 workers kill. He's targeting down the Nexus. I don't believe he'll be able to get it. He's trying so hard to get that Nexus. The Stalkers have arrived, but this does give NesTea again control of the center. The Mutalisks get away. NesTea now supply blocked at 198 out of 196. 2 additional gates going up for Creator so he can spend his money a little bit better. He's also preparing a better wall off at his 3rd base against potential Baneling Zergling attacks. He lost a lot of power in his main base of his gateways as well, so he's repowering those currently. He needs power of those gateways to spend his money. Money, as you can see, getting a little bit high. Oh, look at that Archon doing so much damage. The Banelings will connect! And they will connect with the Nexus as well. May have been a mistake. No, it is not a mistake. NesTea will still take the Nexus. The probe's coming back at the worst possible time, and NesTea will tie up this series. Creator spread too thin, lost too much production for too long. And even without the Infestation Pit, even without the Infestors, pure Mutalisks Zergling Baneling, a composition seen in Zerg versus Terran, NesTea has torn Creator apart. Up 100 supply right now. Creator's production tab is empty. He has not enough production. He's going to be unpowered in his main base again. Unpowers him a 2nd time. The Mutalisk will escape. He may lose 1 or 2 on the way out, but that is totally fine with NesTea because he has a 5th base up at the bottom right. He has killed the Nexus in the center of the map. He has killed so many probes. The worker count for Creator down to 30. He has no economy, he has no money, and no answer for the army of NesTea. He's going to do one more big push across the map. But NesTea will hold. There is no way he does not hold here. The upgrades far superior for Creator at 3-3 versus just 2-0 for NesTea's ground units. Oh, the Mutalisk flying right into an Archon. Archon getting some extra damage here. This does force NesTea back, at least initially. But he's just got so many Banelings and Zerglings to support this army. No amount of micro, I don't feel, can actually win this fight. Consider that the army supply, though, is fairly even here. 104 versus 74, and most of that is in Banelings. And with good micro here, well, he actually was against the wall. It's not enough. GG. GG, says Creator. NesTea ties up the series. Readjusts himself in his booth. Stretches his fingers, cracks his knuckles, and prepares to calm himself down as he goes into a 3rd game on Creator's map choice. What a game we saw there. Zergling Ling Baneling against heavily upgraded 3-3 Stalkers with Force Fields, Sentries, and even a few Immortals in the mix. Archons as well. Creator struggling to deal with what I feel Creator predicted, which is what anyone would predict, is that eventually NesTea was going to switch into more Infestor type play. He was not going to commit still to Baneling mutas against pure Blink Stalkers with some Immortals, and even Archons. He expected to switch, but NesTea, every time he lost his mutas, rather than switching, he just made a ton more mutas. And that was something that Creator never had enough Stalkers for in his main base. Sometimes he would have 10, 11 Stalkers because he knows NesTea's still got like 10 mutas around there somewhere, and he's like, well, that's fine. 10 mutas versus my 10 Stalkers. I push you away. I've got cannons. I've got warpins. But 28 mutas against 10 Stalkers is not enough. Loses the Stalkers. He lost the Stalkers time and time again while they were isolated in the main base. Was not able to defend. Well, things are getting really tense here in this winners match. Whoever wins this next game will advance to the round of 16. It's all down to this final game. The map of choice for Creator is in fact going to be Cloud Kingdom. Now I wonder what sort of strategy we are going to see from NesTea. Last time he showed us really, the first game on Antigua, he showed a unique strategy. The second game, he showed us a unique mid-game, going into the late game with pure Failing Mutiling. Creator did not choose Entombed Valley. He chose, in fact, Cloud Kingdom. We'll find out what sort of strategies we'll see here right now. This is the GSL 2012 Season 3, brought to you by GOMTV, broadcasted by Wolf. See you in the game.
I see red, but I'm not even stopping.